The glittering lights of Hollywood often mask the profound personal struggles that unfold behind closed doors, away from the flashing cameras and the red carpets. In an industry where public figures are expected to maintain an illusion of flawless happiness and continuous success, the reality of human vulnerability can sometimes strike with a devastating force. Viewers around the world tune into their favorite television dramas to find an escape, connecting deeply with characters who navigate complex emotional landscapes and survive the unimaginable. Yet, the actors who bring these powerful narratives to life are human beings who face their own quiet battles, experiencing moments of profound heartbreak that never make it into a Hollywood script. It is within these silent spaces, far from the polished perfection of the screen, that the most raw and authentic human stories are truly written. As we delve into a narrative that touches on the deepest corners of love, hope, and unexpected grief, we invite you to take a moment to subscribe to our channel, ensuring you stay connected with the meaningful stories that define our shared human experience. The journey of an artist in the modern entertainment industry is frequently characterized by resilience, a relentless pursuit of creative expression, and the willingness to lay one's emotions bare for an audience. For years, audiences have watched talented performers navigate the highs and lows of complex storytelling, marveling at their ability to evoke genuine empathy. But when the cameras stop rolling, these individuals return to lives that are subject to the same fragile unpredictability that affects us all. The sudden shift from public celebration to private mourning is a path that few are prepared to walk, yet it is a journey that demands an extraordinary amount of internal strength. When a public figure chooses to open a window into their darkest hours, it is rarely for the sake of attention, but rather out of a profound desire to shatter the isolation that so often accompanies deep emotional suffering. By sharing the moments where their world came to an abrupt halt, they offer a beacon of understanding to countless others who may be enduring similar hardships in total anonymity. The anticipation of new life is universally understood as one of the most transformative chapters a family can experience, filled with whispered plans, quiet joy, and dreams of a bright future. For any couple, the initial weeks of discovering a pregnancy are a sacred time, a period where the world outside seems to fade in comparison to the miracle developing within. This delicate phase is typically marked by cautious optimism, shared smiles, and the gradual joyful revelation of the news to the closest circles of family and friends. It is a time when the future feels expansive and certain, anchored by the promise of a new generation and the continuation of a love story. The warmth of the holiday season only amplifies this sense of wonder, as festive gatherings and winter traditions become backdrops for the celebration of upcoming beginnings. The contrast between this radiant expectation and the sudden arrival of tragic reality creates a fracture in time, separating life into a definitive before and after. Behind the glamorous facade of television productions, like the high-stakes drama of emergency rooms and the comforting familiarity of beloved sitcoms, lies the everyday reality of the people who make these shows possible. These actors spend long hours on sets, pouring their energy into capturing the essence of human triumph and adversity, often becoming familiar faces in the living rooms of millions. They build careers on the ability to communicate profound truths through fiction, establishing a unique bond of trust with their audience. Yet, when a true crisis emerges in their own lives, the fictional dramas they portray pale in comparison to the weight of actual experience. The transition from performing a script to navigating a real-life medical and emotional crisis requires a shift from artistic control to absolute vulnerability, forcing an individual to confront the limitations of human certainty. As winter approached, the atmosphere of celebration was palpable for one particular household, as the dreams of expanding their family seemed to be aligning perfectly with the spirit of the season. The early days of a pregnancy are often treated as a beautiful secret, a precious bond held tightly between two people before it is shared with the wider world. The quiet conversations about names, the nursery, and the milestones yet to come form a tapestry of hope that blankets the expectant parents in comfort. This period of entering the first trimester is supposed to be a time of growing confidence, where each passing day brings them closer to welcoming a new life into their arms. The world outside continues its bustling pace, but for the couple, everything narrows down to the heartbeat of a future that they are already fiercely protecting. However, the fragile nature of these dreams becomes apparent when the unexpected intervenes, disrupting the rhythm of joy with a sudden, chilling stillness. The specialized world of medicine, with its advanced terminology and objective assessments, can instantly transform a sanctuary of hope into a room filled with gravity and fear. When specialists deliver a prognosis that shatters the fragile glass of optimism, the immediate reaction is often a blur of disbelief and overwhelming sorrow. The weight of maternal age, medical statistics, and the rare complexities of genetics suddenly converge on a family, forcing them to confront realities that felt entirely impossible just moments prior. It is in this precise moment, where the festive lights of the holidays still twinkle in the background while an internal storm rages, that the true testing of human endurance begins. The world of 36-year-old actress Justene Alpert, known to audiences for her memorable and compelling appearances on hit television series like the intense drama 911 and the beloved comedy How I Met Your Mother, was completely upended in the final weeks of the year. For Justine and her husband, Mason Trueblood, what should have been a period of profound celebration quickly dissolved into an absolute living nightmare that no parent could ever prepare to face. It was on the 22nd of December, a date traditionally reserved for festive anticipation and the warmth of family gatherings, that their overwhelming happiness was abruptly and cruelly taken away. At that time, Justine was happily pregnant and just entering her first trimester, a milestone that usually brings a sense of relief and growing excitement for expectant parents. The couple had only just started sharing their beautiful secret, telling their closest loved ones that they were expecting a child, when they received a medical prognosis that changed everything in an instant. During a routine assessment, highly specialized doctors detected a rare genetic disorder in their unborn baby, a diagnosis that immediately shattered all of their bright dreams for the future. The medical team, recognizing the severe implications of this rare genetic condition, was forced to deliver a devastating recommendation to the heartbroken couple. The specialists spoke at length not only about the tragic reality of the baby's condition, but also about the exceptionally high risks that Justine herself would be subjected to as a woman of her age if the pregnancy were to continue. Fearing that the fragile baby boy would not survive to full term, and deeply concerned for Justine's physical well-being, the medical team highly recommended that they end the pregnancy as quickly as possible. This sudden guidance plunged the expectant parents into a surreal and agonizing state of grief, forcing them to navigate a medical emergency during the peak of the Christmas holidays. Confronted with a choice they never wanted to make, Justine and Mason found themselves caught in a terrifying race against time, trying desperately to process the clinical reality while dealing with an immense, suffocating sorrow. The contrast between the festive environment surrounding them and the cold, clinical prognosis inside their home created an almost unbearable emotional tension faced with the inevitable reality of their impending loss. The devastated mother and her husband made a conscious, heartbreaking choice to try and savor whatever precious time they had left with their unborn son. Over the course of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day, while families around the world celebrated together, Justine and Mason fought through an overwhelming wave of grief each single day, holding on to their baby boy with a fierce, desperate love. They tried to find moments of quiet sanctity amidst the pain, acknowledging the presence of the son they would never get to raise, even as the countdown to their final separation ticked away. Every holiday tradition, every shimmering light, and every seasonal melody became intertwined with a deep, aching sadness as they prepared themselves for the ultimate farewell. This period was not just a passage of time, but a grueling emotional marathon where the couple had to balance the immense love they felt for their child with the devastating knowledge of his fatal diagnosis. The agonizing culmination of this medical nightmare arrived just a few days later, forever marking the end of their year with a profound and permanent scar. On the 29th of December, Justine and Mason had to walk into the hospital and finally say goodbye to their beloved son, whom they had already named Mads Mason Trueblood. The sheer weight of that day, transitioning from the protective embrace of pregnancy to the empty reality of loss, represented a depth of pain that words can scarcely capture. In her deeply vulnerable and candid reflections shared much later, the entertainer lamented the absolute cruelty of the situation, stating openly that they never wanted to have to make this decision. She emphasized the universal tragedy of their position, noting with raw honesty that no mother or father should ever have to be put in such a terrible, heartbreaking place. The loss of Mads was a quiet explosion within their lives, occurring at a time when the rest of the world was looking forward to a new year, leaving them stranded in a state of deep, isolating mourning through this harrowing ordeal. Justine pointed out a harsh reality that many families face but few talk about openly, shedding light on a significant gap in societal empathy. She noted that situations like theirs, involving a medically necessary termination of a wanted pregnancy due to severe genetic anomalies, are rarely discussed in the public sphere and do not receive the same kind of open support or understanding as other forms of pregnancy loss. It is a unique category of grief that carries a heavy, unjust burden of societal silence, leaving parents to navigate their sorrow without a traditional safety net of community comfort. Justine explained that this lack of discussion creates an environment where it becomes the worst kind of pain, forcing many grieving parents to suffer completely silently out of a constant fear of being judged or simply misunderstood by those around them. By articulating this specific isolation, she highlighted how the stigma surrounding complex medical choices often exacerbates the natural trauma of losing a child, making an already devastating experience infinitely harder to bear. Despite the immense darkness that enveloped them during those final days of December, the bond between Justine and Mason did not fracture under the pressure. Instead, it transformed into a source of profound strength. The actress expressed an immense, overflowing appreciation for her husband, revealing to her followers that she actually fell much more deeply in love with him through this incredibly harrowing ordeal. In a powerful testament to their enduring partnership, she gushed that she would say, "I do to this man 100 times over," having truly lived out the heavy weight of the traditional marriage vows they had made to one another. They had promised to stand together for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, and the devastating loss of their son Mads became the ultimate, painful realization of that lifelong commitment. Mason's unwavering presence and shared grief provided Justine with a safe harbor in the midst of the emotional storm, demonstrating that even when a family's dreams are completely shattered, the love that founded those dreams can remain completely unbroken, serving as a foundation for eventual healing. The long and challenging journey toward healing after such a profound loss requires an extraordinary amount of time, patience, and emotional courage, especially when navigating the emptiness that follows a shattered dream. For Justene Alpert, the process of coming to terms with the passing of her son, Mads Mason Trueblood, meant finding a way to integrate this immense sorrow into her daily existence rather than trying to move past it. Months after that devastating December, she found the strength to break her silence and share her heartbreak with the world through a deeply moving and vulnerable post on social media. She chose to speak out not to seek pity, but out of a profound sense of purpose, stating clearly that she was sharing her story specifically for the woman who may currently be in the exact same situation she was in not long ago. By opening up about the nightmare decision she and Mason had to make, Justine sought to provide a voice for the voiceless and offer a sense of companionship to other mothers and families enduring the silent agony of a complicated pregnancy loss. Her candid statement acted as a warm embrace for strangers navigating similar medical crises, reassuring them that their grief is entirely valid, that their love for their children is real, and that they do not have to carry their heavy burdens in total isolation. In her deeply emotional reflections, Justine spoke of her unborn son with an abundance of love and a sense of spiritual truth that transcended the physical tragedy of his short life. She wrote beautifully that Mads Mason Trueblood had made his way back to heaven, emphasizing that he was already so deeply loved and so incredibly adored during his brief time with them on Earth. This perspective allowed the couple to honor his brief existence not just as a medical tragedy, but as a meaningful chapter of their lives defined by pure, unconditional parental love. The actress concluded her public statement with an enduring promise dedicated directly to her son, declaring with absolute certainty that she loved him then, loves him now, and will continue to love him forever. This eternal vow serves as a powerful reminder that the bond between a parent and a child is never truly dissolved by separation or death, but remains a permanent fixture of the heart. By naming their son and speaking his name openly, Justine and Mason ensured that Mads would always be remembered as an integral, cherished member of their family, whose brief presence left an indelible mark on their souls. Beyond her relationship with her husband, Justine expressed a deep, overflowing appreciation for the incredible support system that surrounded them during their darkest hours. She emphasized that they are absolutely nothing without the love and care of their friends, family, and community, who stood by them when their world fell apart. In a world that often turns away from deep grief, having a circle of people willing to sit with them in their sorrow made an immeasurable difference in their ability to survive the trauma. This network of love provided a protective barrier against the harsh realities of the outside world, allowing Justine and Mason the space to weep, to remember, and to begin the slow process of rebuilding their lives. The actress made sure to publicly highlight this gratitude, recognizing that the compassion of others is often the primary lifeline for individuals navigating the complex aftermath of a severe personal crisis. To understand the depth of Justene Alpert's resilience, it is meaningful to look at the path that brought her to this point in her life and career, a journey marked by dedication and a passion for storytelling. Born and raised with a natural inclination toward the performing arts, the 36-year-old actress spent years honing her craft, working tirelessly to establish herself in the highly competitive entertainment landscape of Los Angeles. Her dedication eventually paved the way for roles on prominent television platforms, where she demonstrated a remarkable versatility as a performer. In the fast-paced, high-stakes environment of the ABC drama series 911, she immersed herself in a world that portrays real-life emergencies and human survival, an irony that would hit close to home during her personal life crisis. Furthermore, her appearances in major comedic productions like How I Met Your Mother showcased her ability to bring light, joy, and laughter to millions of viewers across the globe. These professional experiences not only shaped her as an artist, but also instilled in her a deep understanding of the human condition, an empathy that she would later draw upon when articulating her own profound grief to the public. The story of Justine and Mason is also a testament to the enduring power of a shared history, built upon years of mutual respect, companionship, and a deep alignment of values. Long before they faced the ultimate test of their marriage vows, the couple had established a life together rooted in joy, creative collaboration, and mutual support for one another's professional aspirations. Mason Trueblood, an accomplished professional in his own right, has always been a steady, grounding presence by Justine's side, celebrating her successes on the screen and supporting her through the inevitable challenges of an artistic career. Their journey toward expanding their family was supposed to be the natural, joyful next step in a beautiful love story that had already weathered the ordinary storms of life. When the unexpected medical crisis struck, the strength of this pre-existing foundation became their greatest asset, allowing them to lean heavily into one another rather than pulling apart under the immense strain of their shared sorrow. As time moves forward, the legacy of their experience with baby Mads is transforming into a powerful mission of advocacy and awareness surrounding the complexities of maternal health care and reproductive grief. By choosing to shine a bright light on a topic that is so frequently buried in shame and misunderstanding, Justene Alpert is helping to pave the way for a more compassionate and open dialogue. Her willingness to be vulnerable on a public platform challenges the existing societal taboos, encouraging medical professionals, families, and communities to approach the loss of a pregnancy with greater empathy and nuance. The story of Mads Mason Trueblood is no longer just a private memory held within the walls of their home, but a source of comfort and validation for thousands of people worldwide who see their own hidden pain reflected in Justine's words.